Ikansh, please start the recording of the session. Please say yes or no. Yeah, okay, got it. Thank you.
I hope I'm clearly audible and visible, Anjali.
Yes, you are.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm P. Shravan Kumar, the founder of SK Associates and Group, and I'm delighted to welcome you to Conference 3.2, where we'll explore the topic, the role of social entrepreneurship in driving positive change. We are honored to have a panel of accomplished CEOs, founders, co-founders, industry leaders, startup mentors, and academicians as our guest speakers. By the end of this conference, I hope you will gain valuable insights into this crucial area.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anjali Singh, the head of strategic partnership at SK Associates and Group, and it's my pleasure to co-host this conference with Shravan.
Before we delve into the topic, let me briefly introduce SK Associates and Group. We are an ISO certified management consulting firm registered under the MSMED Act 2006 with the Government of India. Our mission is to provide consulting services to student entrepreneurs globally, covering areas such as compliance, operations, marketing, research and development, human capital, strategy, and operations. Our passion lies in helping these budding entrepreneurs bring their dreams to life and contribute to global economic growth.
At SK Associates and Group, we take pride in offering tailor-made solutions to our clients. Our team of transformational consultants has a deep-rooted passion for entrepreneurship, and they bring extensive experience and expertise to every project. Over the past 3 years, we have built a network of 5,000 individuals in 30 plus countries, representing diverse universities, industries, and functional roles.
Our ultimate goal is to assist 600 million students in India by providing them with pro bono consulting services in areas such as strategy, operations, human capital, compliance, legal advisory, research and development, taxation, and marketing. We also plan to invest 500 crores USD in their startup by 2035, creating more than 5,000 plus employment opportunities for startup experts, advisors, mentors, and resource scholars. Our vision is to contribute to global economic growth by empowering the next generation of entrepreneurs.
Collaboration, strategic alliances are key to achieving our mission. We are committed to promoting entrepreneurship development and community impact, with a focus on empowering students for global economic growth. Our aim is to partner with 1,000 plus universities and colleges by 2030, providing guidance and mentorship to students as they embark on their startup journeys.
Rightly said, Anjali. The enthusiasm and interest we see among students for entrepreneurship nowadays is truly inspiring. Startups have the potential to address critical social, economical, and geopolitical challenges through innovative business models. By promoting sustainable entrepreneurship, we can drive positive change and create a brighter future for all. Entrepreneurs not only generate job opportunities but also stimulate economic growth, offer innovative solutions to consumer needs, and foster collaborations with other businesses. We have witnessed remarkable success stories where entrepreneurs have tackled issues like climate change, waste management, education, and many more.
Absolutely. Entrepreneurship is a catalyst for change and innovation, and it's a powerful force that can reshape industries, transform lives, and make the world a better place. We are committed to supporting student entrepreneurs in their journey, equipping them with the tools, knowledge, and networks they need to succeed.
At SK Associates and Group, we are immensely grateful for the dedicated support of our executive management team, including Ms. Anjali Singh, Ms. Vaishali Shri, Ms. Aditi Jain, and Mr. Digvijay Pawar. Their unwavering commitment has played a pivotal role in our growth and development. Thanks to their dedication, we can make a meaningful impact on the entrepreneurial ecosystem by inspiring, educating, and mentoring young individuals, encouraging them to pursue entrepreneurship instead of a corporate career. Now, before we dive into our discussions, let's take a moment to introduce our esteemed lineup of guest speakers and tap into the wealth of wisdom they bring to the table.
Our first speaker of the day is Mr. Dan Astoli. Dan is the founder of Vantage Funds LLC, a multifaceted professional with a rich background in entrepreneurship, social impact, and behavioral health. With a track record of founding successful ventures and a commitment to serving others, he brings a unique perspective to the table. His experience in consulting, coupled with expertise in behavioral health, makes him a valuable asset in the realm of social entrepreneurship. Dan's dedication to making a positive difference in the world is evident in his work and his passion for serving others.
Our second speaker of the day is Dr. Sarah McHugh, a seasoned advisor with a diverse background in entrepreneurship, trade, and technology. Her extensive experience working with government agencies, international organizations, leading tech companies reflects her deep understanding of global business dynamics. As a serial entrepreneur, Dr. McHugh has spearheaded impactful initiatives, including youth empowerment platforms and online mentoring programs. Her commitment to driving positive change through entrepreneurship and innovation makes her a respected figure in the field.
Next up, we have Ms. M.K. Butelfo, a dynamic social entrepreneur and advocate for women's empowerment. As the CEO and founder of FH Moms, the largest freelancing group for Pune moms, and the co-founder of Get Hired Online, she has revolutionized the way women access career opportunities. Her dedication to supporting stay-at-home, corporate, and overseas moms underscores her commitment to fostering inclusive economic growth. Her passion for empowering women and creating social impact has earned her recognition as a leader in the field of social entrepreneurship.
Our final speaker is Ms. Edidong Michael Ishola, a trailblazing social entrepreneur dedicated to providing perinatal mental health support in Nigeria. With a background in biomedical science and social enterprise development, she has demonstrated a profound commitment to addressing mental health challenges in her community. Her innovative approach to mental health support, coupled with her advocacy efforts, has garnered widespread acclaim. Her commitment in improving mental health and empowering individuals has positioned her as a leading figure in social entrepreneurship. Welcome,
Welcome,
everyone.
everyone, and it's an honor to have you all with us. Your expertise adds a special dimension to our conference and making it unique and insightful gathering. Now, before we begin this conference, we would request all of you to switch on their respective webcams, and we'd also like to inform you that our HR team will be conducting polls in the chat box throughout the conference, and we encourage you to, to actively participate in them. Moving ahead, I would like to invite our first speaker, Mr. Dan Esterly, and request him to commence his speech.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Great. Well, thank you so much for having me first off. My name is Dan Esterly. This is my presentation on social entrepreneurship and driving positive change. My background myself is behavioral finance and also business consulting. I consulted for a variety of companies in the US for about 8 years. And then my background educationally is behavioral health. And I also did some behavioral health counseling as well. So over the years, I kind of combined the two skills, and it led me to my current venture Vantage funds, which I'll get to later in the presentation. So today's agenda, really my goal is just to give a brief introduction of what social entrepreneurship is, how it came to be out of some of the dilemmas in the traditional for-profit models of business. And then I want to give you some real-world examples of social entrepreneurship in action, just to get you thinking about how you can apply it to either your current business or future business idea. So what is a social entrepreneur? I'm going to be honest with you, there is a lot of disagreement out there about what a social entrepreneur is. There are many definitions, so it's still a very ambiguous concept. And different people may have different ideas about what a social entrepreneur is. So I kind of just made a definition out of my understanding from studying it a little bit, but it's by no means the golden definition by any means here. I have a solution-focused founder or owner who is motivated by both contributing to social impact and return on investment. So really, I think what separates a social entrepreneur is that there's also a social goal that is equally important, if not more than important, than the for-profit goal of the business. As you'll see in a later slide, there are many forms, structures, and styles, different ways to do social entrepreneurship. And it's congruent with the servant leadership model. For those of you not familiar with the servant leadership model, it's really kind of the old way of leadership was a CEO at the top of a pyramid, kind of barking down orders down the chain of command. Servant leadership is just the opposite. You have an upside down pyramid with the leader at the back, kind of putting the needs of those they're serving first. And so it's just a different model and style of leadership. It talks a lot about humility and putting your ego, at the bottom of the totem pole. And the servant leadership model really led me to social entrepreneurship, because in both models, you're getting away from self-serving needs and you're putting something bigger as an important goal. Really, the concept of social entrepreneurship emerged to address dilemmas in the traditional for-profit models. So before I get to those, I wanted to start with a quote from Colin Wright, who's a podcaster, and he also runs the website exilelifestyle.com. But it says, chase your passions and money will come. Chase money and you may never find your passions. And I really like this quote because I feel like it speaks to the heart of social entrepreneurship. You can do very well chasing money in business. There are people who do it all the time. But I truly feel being fulfilled and being very good at what you do comes from passion. And it could be passion about what you're doing, or it could be passion about solving a problem of some kind. And I feel that entrepreneurs really are problem solvers. They like to look at things, do it just a little differently, and find unique ways to solve a problem of some kind. So some dilemmas in the traditional for-profit business models. So traditionally, you had public companies that a study done by a consulting firm called Equilar found that the average CEO at these S&P 500 companies last about 5 years on average, 4.8 in the study. But it's not a long-term job. And so what you find is a lot of CEOs start to make short-term decisions based on their tenure. And so in public companies, shareholders hold a lot of voting power. So a lot of decisions are made to appease and please the shareholders. A lot of CEOs like to go on to other companies or other business ventures and say, I was at the XYZ Corporation for 5 years, and under my leadership, the stock price rose by X%. And they really place value on share price. So the share price rose, so therefore I'm a good leader. And the problem with this, honestly, is that share price doesn't always reflect leadership or even true value of what how the company is doing. And so you get a lot of short-term decisions that are aimed at making
sorry to interrupt, Mr. Dan. I think the slides are not moving. We're still in the first slide.
Oh, no. Here, hold on. Let me see what happened here. Can you see this okay?
Yes.
Okay. So it's dilemmas in the traditional for-profit business model slide. And kind of picking up where I left off, you have a lot of short-term decisions, and often the longevity or the long-term vision of the company gets put to the wayside. So yes, it looks good in the short term, but it's not always good for the long-term vision. But unfortunately, because you have such short tenures at companies, the can gets kicked to the next guy, so to speak. With private companies, it's very similar. Private company executives tend to focus a lot on buyouts and return on investment. And so really the goal of a lot of private companies is to get bought out at some point by a larger firm. And so, they play with their financials a little bit to look more attractive than maybe they are. Totally legal to do, and there are different ways to do that. But in the mix of getting bought out, other people are often an afterthought. So anyone familiar with mergers and acquisitions knows that often when a company gets bought out, there are often mass layoffs afterward and tightening of the belt to kind of adjust and adapt to being part of a bigger company who may have not budgeted for so many employees, or there might be extra employees doing the same jobs as other employees. So there are unintended consequences of this, but it's because profit is put to the front of the goal list here. And by no means am I saying that there's anything inherently wrong with private or public companies. There's plenty of good companies doing good things. These are just some pitfalls where social entrepreneurship emerged to kind of address that need for a social goal in business. So here you have social business structures. They honestly are going to look a lot like regular business structures. Can you see the slide okay? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So you have nonprofits, private companies, public companies. And in the US, we just created, probably at least 10 years ago now, but they're catching on more and more benefit corporations and companies. Really, the only difference with these for-profit companies is that there's the added social goal built into the company. And so often, even benefit corporations have to report to their investors how much progress they're making towards the social goal. But it's really just a designation to show that there's some other goal or motive for the business besides profit. So I'm going to give you a few examples here. These are by no means the only way to do social entrepreneurship. There are many ways to be a social entrepreneur. These are just what they could look like. In a nonprofit, you might have a healthcare nonprofit that creates a limited partnership. So they might partner with an outside investor, an outside company, and buy a large piece of real estate. Then they might rent out that real estate to start up healthcare companies that kind of have to do with their nonprofit, but they might be more for-profit innovation type of companies. So if it's a healthcare nonprofit, it might be medical technology, it could be software, maybe it's pharma, but they're renting out to for-profit companies and collecting the rent as part of their nonprofit charitable mission. And then they might create an investment fund where outside investors can also invest in the startup companies they're renting to and charge a management fee for that. So in this example, you have a healthcare nonprofit that's traditionally a charity, but it's collecting three forms of for-profit revenue from real estate, from renting out in the form of cash flow, and then you have an investment fund. And it's all feeding the nonprofit mission. And then you also have expanded potential for collaborations and partnerships with all of the talent that's under their roof now. In the next example I'll give you, you have a private ice cream store. So this could be an example of small business social entrepreneurship. But let's say you have a successful ice cream store and it donates a portion of every purchase to about 2 to 3 nonprofits of their choice. So they advertise that this week, 25% of that profit will get donated, of every purchase will go to a children's foundation. And maybe next week they pick a different charity and they rotate. Their customers love the ice cream and feel even better knowing that their purchase will support a good cause. The ice cream shop wins both financially and it's making a positive impact. In the last example here I'll give, you have public social entrepreneurship. So this would be a big financial services firm of some sort, your typical brokerage that sells investment products. So in this example, they're selling mutual funds and exchange traded funds. For those of you less familiar, they're just baskets of companies that typically are a little safer than individual stocks to buy. But in this example, the company has created mutual funds and ETFs that only invest in socially oriented funds that have a specific purpose. So in this one, there's a mutual fund that only invests in companies with women as CEOs, or an ETF that invests in green technologies or environmentally conscious companies. And you could do a million of these in different ways, but this would be an example of a public company engaging in social entrepreneurship. Moving on to my business, Vantage Funds is a small private company that's registered as a benefit company in the state of Pennsylvania here in the US. Our operation so far, I'm brand new, so I'm still in my first year, still growing. but it's a mixture of passive and active investments, consulting services, and in the future, I'd like to expand out and become a holding company and add on some other businesses and operations down the road here. How do we do social impact? So I created Vantage Funds with the goal of engaging in social impact. It's something that is really important to me, and I wanted to accomplish both for-profit and social impact goals. So for the first, because we're in the first year here, I've been putting profit into my personal charitable fund, which supports a variety of nonprofit causes here in the US. That being said, I don't want it to stay that way forever. One of the plans and intentions for creating Vantage Funds was to become a grant scholarship of sorts, specifically for people entering vocational and technical careers here in the US. There were a lot of social barriers for people, minorities and women here in the United States to entering some of these careers, and they're life-changing careers, lots of opportunity, very livable salaries and income. And so there still are a lot of barriers to entry and limited funding for some of these students. So one of the things that I wanted to do, and the funding is getting better, but was to create a grant and scholarship out of my business and create it out of the profit from the business. So that was truly the intention of Vantage Funds, and it's something I'm working towards. The other thing that I'd like to do is to create a panel so that it's not just me approving grants or scholarships to people. I really want to keep the process objective. So I'm going to recruit some outside panelists at some point to really go through applications and use a rubric so that we really are ensuring objectivity and that we are making social impact of some sort, and really kind of include other people in the process of giving out these scholarships. That is my reference for the study done by Equilar for the average tenure of CEOs. And also a book I'd recommend if you're interested in learning more about servant leadership, because it's really in line with social entrepreneurship, is called The Serving Leader. It's by Ken Jennings and Dr. John Stalwart. If you need that name again or are interested in just connecting, my contact info is here. And you are more than free to reach out, connect with me on LinkedIn. I really love talking with other entrepreneurs and like-minded people. So I just wanted to thank SK Associates and Group for having me today. I'm really honored to be here, and thank you for letting me present on this topic. It means a lot to me.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Dan. Since you have been into the investments industry for a long time, would you like to advise our young aspiring sitting here on how to pitch investors exactly?
Sure. I'll be real honest. I haven't had much experience in pitching investments. It's mostly been internal investing of sorts. But I haven't had much experience in venture capital or raising funds. That being said, that is a very high demand area right now. But
That's great. So, how do you suggest that our entrepreneur sitting here could actually pitch out investors in case they're actually looking to collaborate with other companies for joint ventures?
I would say the best way to do that is to, just like every entrepreneur, network, use your circles of influence, go out and find people who are already profitable and might want to be a silent partner in a new enterprise. There are a lot of business owners that want to make a little extra profit. So go and pitch to those people. They're always looking, and then you can kind of sell them on. You don't have to do much. I just need the upfront money to get started. And really kind of sell your vision. You know, you want to let them know what it is that they're investing in, what the potential return on investment is. And I really think that's the best method to find investors, is really to tap into your business networks.
That's great, Dan. Apart from this, for instance, let's assume that one of our entrepreneurs sitting here actually wants to start a not-for-profit in for social and community growth. He or she actually pitched out investors, and investors again twist the matter around and come to the point of returns on investments, or ROI, which you obviously know is quite low in social impact organizations. What would you suggest to entrepreneurs in such cases?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
I didn't get you. If you can please repeat.
Could you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah. My question is, what if some entrepreneurs actually pitch out investors, but the investors twist the matter around and come to the point of return on investments, or ROI, which obviously is very low in social impact organizations. So what do you suggest to such entrepreneurs? How they could maybe convince or persuade investors to stand on their side?
Gotcha. If it's a hard sell like that, then you really got to sell the vision you have. Actually, a great example of this was Amazon. In the early days, Jeff Bezos went to his investors and said, "You're actually going to lose money for the first 10 years if you invest with me." And he was very upfront with them. And I know that's not really a social vision, so to speak, but he basically said to them, "The vision's so great. In 10 years, I promise you'll all be rich." And the way he sold it must have been so good, because no investor wants to lose money for the first 10 years. They want that return right away. But the original investors in Amazon saw the vision and believed in it so much that today that dream came true. And so it's really, in my opinion, if you're going to go out and sell something that might be a low return on investment but has a huge impact, you really got to sell that vision and connect with the person that you're speaking to.
That's a good response, then. That was great talking to you. I would like to invite all the participants to put forward their questions, if any. Arpit, Pranjali, Akansh, Mr. Pawar, Manjari, no questions? If any questions, you can simply raise your hands and unmute yourself and speak. No questions out here? Okay, then that's it. Thank you, Dan, for your speech. It was quite amazing talking to you. And obviously, your knowledge on investments is quite appreciated, because, again, even I had this query out back there in my mind that social impact organizations do work for social impact and not for ROIs. So, again, how do those entrepreneurs exactly convince investors? But that was a great response. It was great talking to you. Just to share your email ID in the chat box, Dan, so that if any of our audience has any questions or seeks further info, they can straight away mail you out. Now, moving ahead, I would like to invite Dr. Sarah Maku, and I request her to commence her speech and share her valuable insights. Yeah, Sarah, I hope I'm audible. Sure.
Just waiting for my deck to come up. Thank you.
Yes, just allow me a minute and share the detail. Yeah, is it visible?
I can see, yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. I am so pleased to be with you to share how small and medium-sized enterprises are using artificial intelligence, the skills that they will need to take full advantage of the technology, while also helping them understand inherent risks and harms, to ensure countries create their own AI tools, regulate AI, and ensure we understand how to discern truth and fact. I first experienced the internet in an ethics class at the University of Michigan. If we could go to the next slide, where we communicated online in discussion forums using various terminals around campus. the next slide will show that it was obvious from this experience that the internet had and still has such power to transform societies. Most of my career has focused on, next slide, leveraging technology to elevate those working and living at the base of the pyramid. Next, please, I'm sorry. I started by helping small and medium-sized enterprises with market entry strategies, later creating websites for SMEs so that we could put them under a microscope and study their experiences as they began to participate in e-commerce. I joined the United Nations International Trade Center as a young professional to prepare a series of publications on technical aspects of the export process so that SMEs could understand every detail of the international trade experience. And then I started focusing on electronic commerce. And then I went to the World Bank to build partnerships with Silicon Valley firms, including with Google and Cisco, to create an education portal for youth in developing countries that was focused on these critical issues. I began to focus on online education in my work and at Georgetown University, where I teach in the IT management program, and I also research how online education and training is delivered at various universities so that we can bring that knowledge and experience into developing countries. In 2015, a hedge fund CEO asked me to create a no-cost online master's degree program in data analytics for the financial sector so that he could bring the hedge fund industry knowledge into developing countries. It was a fascinating question, so I accepted the challenge. World Quant University was launched in 2017 and has graduated more than 12,000 students in more than 100 countries at no cost to the student. It cost $3.2 million to build and far less to operate annually, with cost per student at $478 US per year. That's truly a game changer, that education can be provided at a fraction of the cost of traditional education. AI is, of course, a game changer for business, and that's what we're hearing all about lately. Small and medium-sized enterprises everywhere are using it, as we found in a global survey of businesses for a book that I recently co-authored for the United Nations International Trade Center on use of AI in business. They're using AI for prediction, financial modeling, finding code, research, composing email, drafting a business plan, for project planning, simplifying complex document, generating code, and generating PowerPoints. And our research paralleled what MIT found are the AI skills in demand for forecasting, analyzing data, marketing, managing human resources, and bringing efficiency to the supply chain and manufacturing. And these are the skills and knowledge that we're bringing to SMEs, organizations, and students who want to understand and apply AI in the workplace. As we build awareness of AI, it's important to help SMEs understand where the impact can be made in these sectors and where to bring AI into the SME and organizations. In healthcare, AI is improving early disease detection, predicting outbreaks, improving medical image diagnoses, and even creating personalized medicine. In agriculture, advances are being made in monitoring of soil, weather, and crops, and automation of irrigation and pest control. The AV market will bring emergency healthcare, vital products that are needed in a remote community, and improve road safety that takes the lives of far too many in developed and developing countries. AI and financial technology is being applied to fraud detection, algorithmic trading, and automation of accounting. AI is helping in e-commerce with, for example, smart pricing that corresponds to per capita income against demand within targeted markets. If you could skip that next slide to the next one, please. And the next. And while enterprise AI is bringing efficiency to most functions of business, from strategy and forecasting, planning and budgeting, automating tedious workflows, and creating reports. And SMEs will need to understand what AI tools can be incorporated for specific tasks by looking at each function within a particular unit. Transformative change is coming, and AI's influence is going to be pervasive in trade. SMEs will need to find the opportunities and know the risks. But at this point, the knowledge gap is deep and wide, so we need to help SMEs and the organizations that support them make sense of it all. An inherent bias, misinformation, copyright infringement, and decline in critical thinking skills. And the headlines are portending AI's potential to create mass unemployment because it has replaced so many jobs. This is what keeps me up at night: how to ensure AI brings benefit, not harm, to societies. For example, ChatGPT is a large language model that scrapes content from Wikipedia, Al Jazeera, the New York Times, and scientific journals. This does not represent the experiences and vast content created by the rest of the world. Also, these LLMs have a serious image and misinformation problem that we cannot trust the content regurgitated by them because AI cannot self-evaluate or verify its sources. Internet co-founder Vint Cerf was clarion in his opinion about generative AI when he said that we must remember ChatGPT is producing glib content that is often wrong. And Gary Marcus, who recently spoke with us at a UN conference, said much more bluntly about a deep-faked world of digitally manipulated truth where AI doesn't understand fact, truth, or privacy. LLMs are infringing potentially millions of copyrighted works and try to hide behind a fair use shield because they claim they convert their content into substantially different work. The New York Times is not buying this argument based on the recent copyright infringement lawsuit against Microsoft and OpenAI. In addition, I'm finding as an instructor and as a leader of teams, because of these LLMs, we are experiencing a decline in critical thinking skills. I see it daily. And what do we expect when 1.6 billion users a month are using ChatGPT to do their critical thinking? I'm often asked, how am I responding to AI in the workplace and the classroom, because I'm not able to tell if a human or ChatGPT did the writing. And so I try to counter it by requiring less writing, more verbal presentation, group collaboration, engaging with thought leaders, finding best practices, not just in the US, but around the world, and recommending ethical solutions. I also emphasize that anything written should prioritize brevity because of our limited attention spans that now require us to present our opinions in highly abbreviated forms, or what is known as snackable content. In fact, research is showing us why ADHD diagnoses in adults are increasing. When many have 20 tabs open, we're unable to focus for any length of time, resulting in what is known as popcorn brain as we jump from tab to tab. And being brief, even with AI helping us, is not easy. AI can summarize research articles, edit our writing, send us notes from a meeting we missed, generate PowerPoints, or simply write a more elegant email. And AI creates exceptional visualization of data and trends, but we need to use this data to tell a story from our own perspectives and our own experiences as we go about, for example, seeking investment funding. Hans Rosling is the exemplar who used international development data to show trends and deficits in our human progress and in such a compelling way. I would encourage you all to Google Hans Rosling or look him up on YouTube. He has incredible data visualization videos. And training, AI can help with training by developing entire training courses so that we can focus on the learner, finding gaps in their knowledge, and truly mentoring and engaging with students. So that we can do the things that humans do best, build relationships, create solutions, and while protecting us from the harmful effects of AI. Freeing us to focus on evaluating new approaches, advocating, and recommending national strategies and policy. And to use AI to find breakthroughs that will bring health, a revived planet, and economic growth for all, not just some. But right now, creating ethical AI is so important to ensure countries create their own AI tools, regulate AI, and prioritize truth and fact. Laws and policy are beginning to emerge to ensure that AI is factual, legal, safe, and controllable without bias, and above all, trusted. And governments are starting to say that AI needs to be regulated as seriously as financial services, cybersecurity, health, and nuclear energy. And these are the policies that will need to be developed to govern AI. And as I wrote in the book, Genie Unleashed, on the use of AI in business, I would often think how our culture has changed. I'm sorry, could you jump to the next slide? So as I was writing the book, I was often thinking about how the culture has changed since the internet was launched just 50 years ago as a way for government researchers to share information. It was 584 years ago when Gutenberg created the printing press, with each page set manually with movable type and then inked against a paper pressed by hand, printing pages a few per hour. And so as we progressed through the centuries, like a genie trapped in the bottle, information was once contained in books and very tightly controlled by newspapers and television. As we discuss in the book, the genie has been released and information and content is now everywhere. Now anyone can publish their opinions and experiences on social media and podcasts curated like groups in WhatsApp and on YouTube, sharing photos and videos of absolutely everything, including news, whether the news is completely made up or factual. Truly, everyone is a publisher. The power of AI tools in publishing is not new, but this latest wave has unleashed both unprecedented promise and perils for business, government, and us all. And as AI becomes ubiquitous in all aspects of business, its influence will be transformative. In fact, a few times I thought the title of the book, like the movie, should be AI, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. For here we see a human almost touching a robot, akin to Michelangelo's creation of man, where God is about to give life to Adam. May we all consider the very real prospect that we are giving life to artificial intelligence. I thank SK Associates for prioritizing this important discussion, and thank you all for your time today.
Thank you, Ms. Shara. That was a wonderful speech. Do we have any questions for her?
Yeah, I hope I'm audible, Anjali.
Yes, you are.
Sure. I had a small question, Sarah, if you don't mind it. Like, we have been hearing out multiple instances where obviously AI systems have overtaken the place of C-suite professionals on the board in many companies, and they are actually running it very well with a 24 into 7 worker. And obviously, they are doing it very consistently and perfectly. This obviously makes entrepreneurs multiple times feel maybe a better suitable person can overtake their place, or maybe it could be a proper successor for them. What is your perspective on this? AI taking the place of C-suite management professionals?
I think it's a very real possibility, but I think that the C-suite professional, they're smart. They know how to advocate for themselves. They know how to think about the things that I'm just presented on, where they need to say, artificial intelligence can help, but it's also going to hurt our country, our society, and they need to band together and identify the legislation that can protect the society, but also the C-suite leader. I wanted to also...
We have heard multiple times, Sarah, people speak that C-suite needs to be perfect on all frontiers. And again, AI is the best tool that is obviously perfect on multiple frontiers. So if any weakness persists in the case of AI, which can maybe lead to a perfect collaboration between a human and an AI chatbot, or maybe AI software in like to ensure optimum operations in any company. What is your perception on this?
I do think AI can help in those tedious tasks. For example, accounting. I'm watching how the accounting industry is being transformed because AI can be perfect and precise in that. But I don't think that AI can be perfect and precise in marketing, in strategy, in all the things that have to be perfect with data. I think AI is going to continue to lead, but I don't think we're anywhere near it taking over most positions, but we just have to be extremely careful.
Exactly. And as the topic for today is again the role of social entrepreneurship in driving positive change, Sarah, when we come and we talk of social entrepreneurship, we are most probably talking of making a bigger change in the community, in the society, globally on a worldwide scale, Sarah, right? So when it comes to making such a community impact, it's mostly carried out by professionals who have a vision for doing something in the good faith of the society. So do you think that AI can actually carry out such a vision to do something in the good faith of the overall society?
My brief answer is as long as the prompts given to AI are well intended, and then AI will respond with good intentions, right? It's all about the prompt and how you're using it to strategize to create a better world. I do want to mention that I am a pro bono global advisor for an organization called the Knowledge Impact Network, and it's the acronym is KIN. Please look up the Knowledge Impact Network for any of the social entrepreneurs who need that mentoring and that good advice. It's all no cost. And what they do is they get circles together of experts from a multidiscipline kind of approach to give advice to that social entrepreneur. Because you're right, they have to be perfect in so many different areas, and it's impossible to be perfect without that advice and that guidance. And so that's why I'm spending my time mentoring these social impact ventures around the world.
That's great, Sarah. I hope if I have not interviewed you already enough. A last question for you. Social entrepreneurship is basically driven by people who have a lot of emotional intelligence, Sarah, emotional intelligence as in sense they want to do something for the community, for those who are underpowered, underprivileged. So do you think that AI could ever attain such a level of emotional intelligence as in to execute social entrepreneurship campaigns?
It's a good question. I really think that many of the LLMs are going to be imploding because they don't have that social intelligence. They don't know how to discern fact from fiction. They're just regurgitating what has been put into it's called training, what has been put into the large language model. Eventually, I think they might be able to get it right to get that caring about those who don't have as much as others. Right now, it's absolutely not in those large language models.
That was a very interesting conversation with you, Sarah. Thank you. I would like to invite all the participants to put forth their questions, if any. You can simply unmute yourself and put forth the questions to Sarah. Yeah, Manjari, I think, has a question.
Yeah, greetings, ma'am. I'm Manjri. This might be a very small question as our topic is social entrepreneurship. So, ma'am, as I'm very young and if I want to do a startup or social entrepreneurship, at what level should I or can I be dependent on AI and how can AI help me to grow my social entrepreneurship?
Ask it a lot of questions. I would encourage you to look at the US Small Business Administration, where I spent the first part of my career. They have all sorts of tools that will help you go through the ideation process, and it will ask you a number of questions in their business planning tools. And if you're not able to answer some of those questions, absolutely use ChatGPT to help you understand what the answer quote should be, and then you will start customizing it to your own idea and your own passion.
Thank you, ma'am.
I did have a link in the chat to the book that I just co-authored and how SMEs are using AI, and so it answers a lot of questions for SMEs on how to use it and how to get started.
That was a great conversation with you, Sarah. I would like to request you to share your email ID in the chat box so that if any of our attendees have queries, they can straight away reach out to you via mail. Thank you for your beautiful speech. Now, let's welcome Mr. MK Bertolfo, and I request her to commence her speech and share her insights.
Hi. Hi everyone. I'm MK Bertulfo. I wasn't able to watch the first part of the session. I just gave birth a few days ago, so I'm kind of struggling with my schedule now. But thank you so much for having me here. Am I supposed to show my slide presentation and present what I'm? Okay, great. Thank you. Let me do that. Okay. So allow me to share about what I've been doing as a social entrepreneur here. Okay. Start here. Can you see my slides now? Okay. There you go. All right. So I am MK. I am the CEO and founder of Filipino Home-Based Moms, or FH Moms. I'm based here in the Philippines. Okay, and what I've been doing as a social entrepreneur started in 2017. But before that, I was a college dropout. I started working as a fast food worker and a call center agent for two different call center companies. So I've been juggling a lot of jobs in the past before I transitioned to becoming an online freelancer. So I've been doing a lot of online jobs for different clients globally. And then that was also the time I started FH Moms as a Facebook group or a community. I never thought of growing it this big. We're now at 500,000 members globally. So I started that as a Facebook community, now a social enterprise. I'm also an influencer here in the Philippines and a tech startup founder, since I also have another startup baby, which is Get Hired Online. And I've been doing this virtually. So these companies are both remote. So because of what I'm doing for the community and for my social enterprise, These are the things that I've been enjoying now as a mom and as a wife. FH Moms focuses on providing assistance to mothers, um, 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 for mothers, not just mothers, but also those who are mom alike. So these are the breadwinners of the family, young professionals, so all women. And then we wanted to help them gain the digital skills that they needed either for online job or business. So these are just some of the group photos that we have. And the social problem that we're trying to solve here are this. As we know, as you know, during the pandemic, there's a lot of people, not just women, but all of us were greatly affected. Many were decreased by their working hours, they lost their jobs, and even before the pandemic, many of our community members would say that they have very limited resources and opportunities, meaning they don't have the computer, the internet connection, and I'm pretty sure you know the struggle of starting a job or a business online without these things. And here in the Philippines, especially in the provincial areas, it's hard to start something without those. Many are also overwhelmed by the information that they are getting. Earlier, I've been hearing about AI, about the use of AI in today's digital world. But still, many here in the Philippines are not that techy. Many were overwhelmed by the information that they are getting, and a lot are experiencing social pressure and expectation. What does it mean? It means that even their husband, their family members wouldn't support them, wouldn't believe that they can do it as a work at home mom. So many moms like Mommy Jen here, who is an ex overseas worker, a corporate slave, a PWD, and a solo mom, has been struggling a lot in terms of finding opportunities. So if you are a social entrepreneur or someone who's starting a passion project, it's very important to be able to identify your the problem that you wanted to solve, or your biggest why are you doing what you're doing now. Here is our solution. Earlier, I mentioned about digital skills training. Before, when I started FH Moms as a Facebook community, it's just me who's been managing all of our initiatives. And now we have our own team. We have our volunteers. So everyone is just trying to help each other through our free webinars. We have our job fair, our in-person events, internship, online job assistance, and then we also partner with another company to provide computer loan assistance. This started during the pandemic when our community members requested if we can have this kind of program, since many transitioned to online school and then online work. And then we also have CSR projects. This is in partnership with local and international organizations, celebrities, who provided us with Wi-Fi and laptop sponsorship. And then we have Get Hired, my second startup, which focuses on the recruitment side. So these are some of the community events. When you are running a social enterprise, especially if it's online, you might want to consider doing offline events to keep the community intact. Since we have a lot of members, not just in one area, but all over the Philippines and even outside the country, because we have members in Hong Kong and Dubai and in other parts of the world. We would organize community meetups as well as training that are in person. The biggest event that we were able to organize were attended by 2,000 moms in a mall here in the Philippines, and then the small events or meetups would be attended by 15 to 15 moms. So we have programs that are funded by the community. So usually we would encourage volunteers. We would encourage people to donate for some of our projects. So we have our free webinars. We would also create resources that are free for the community, such as directory and other files that we could provide for free. That is also curated. We have our scholarship program, so we would encourage our partner companies to provide scholarship funds. And then from time to time, we would also do outreach programs. So we would extend help not just for mothers, but for the children, to those who are affected by the typhoon. So we were able to come up with a donation drive, and then we would partner with other organizations, especially youth organizations, to do the relief operations, since we cannot do that as moms who are just at home. So this is how programs work inside a community. This is one example of the project that we created with our volunteers, which is the directory. So you can find everything here. And then these are the programs that needs funding. So in 2018, since FH Moms as a community and as a social enterprise is growing fast, what I did is I joined a lot of pitching competitions, accelerator programs, since I don't have any idea about social enterprise. I don't even know that what I'm doing is social entrepreneurship. I don't know that it's called social enterprise. So when I joined these pitching competitions and accelerator programs, I learned how to do things, how to ask for grants or free money, as you know. So these are some of the projects funded by UNDP, the USAID, and other organizations. These are all in Filipino, sorry, but basically we would provide soft skills training, Wi-Fi unit donation, and this one is the latest project that I have. I just received the funding, thanks God. It's basically asking our community members to donate their second-hand computer, and then we would be working with their husbands who are technicians, and they would repair the units that are not that good but can still be fixed, and then we will donate it to beneficiary moms. So that's how it works, and that is how we engage not just our community members but even their family members. So this one, since we have a lot of members in the community, and we're very strong when it comes to our social media. We were able to work with a lot of brands, like big brands in the Philippines and globally. This one is with Unilever. So they've been working with us for the past 2 years, and then we were able to cater to 16,000 graduates. We were able to provide million worth of business packages that were awarded to entrepreneurs. We've done mall bazaars, big events for this mother, so that they could not just learn from the program but also earn from the initiatives that we have. So this one is funded by brands. And then this is our social impact. I think this one is important for you to consider if you are doing any kind of social or any project that has social impact. Okay, so with this one, we were able to identify that we wanted to solve four things, or at least focus on these four SGDs, which is no poverty, quality education, gender equality, and decent work and economic growth. And we are happy that we were able to, help these moms increase their monthly salary, and then they would say that they have more family time, they have savings, investments, they were able to afford tech and home appliances. Their salary were increased, their confidence and morale were also increased. They have their own house, car, and travel. And it's the same with my experience. Like when I showed you my story earlier, my brief introduction. This is exactly what happened to me and has been happening to a lot of our community members. So this one is our values and practices in FH Moms inside our team, as a social enterprise and our community, especially to our community members. So we make sure, since we are 100% remote, we make sure that it's fun, it's a friendly workplace, and for the community, it's safe, it's a nurturing community. We make sure that we would prevent spammers, scammers, and trolls from the community, since all of our members are active inside the group. We would allow work-life balance, and we would create projects to allow our community members to have the confidence, the time, location, and financial freedom. And then lastly, this one is very important, especially for our team and the community. We would encourage everyone to, participate, collaborate. If they wanted to start their own project, they can do that. We even what do you call this? We even assign a community leader per region so that it would be easier for us to come up with projects on a local level. So yeah. Next is there. Since we have a lot of projects in FH Moms that has been very successful, we kind of struggle when it comes to to having more jobs for the community, since we would refer them to different job matching platforms. That's why Get Hired was created. It is for us to be able to encourage more employers to hire from the community. So for the past years, I've been connecting my entrepreneur friends to our virtual assistant graduates. But I'm happy now that we have our own through Get Hired, and we're doing a big job fair this July here in the Philippines. So we were hoping to tap more employers as well as applicants in this event. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. I hope I didn't get much of the 15-minute time. You can always contact me if you have any questions. I think we have a Q&A, right?
Yeah. Firstly, I would
Okay.
like to actually appreciate your efforts you have been taking towards developing the community, Mario. It might be Philippines, but again, small initiatives on a local level is what actually makes a difference on a global level, right? That's how it goes. So again, firstly, hats off to you for your efforts for bringing out single moms and every backward person from the society and underprivileged person on the community so that you can connect them with appropriate stakeholders and organizations. And I really appreciate your initiatives towards helping them to get hired in various places, helping them find employment, helping them become independent. That's actually what we need in the society. But again, the very few people like you actually giving a boost to the initiatives. I really appreciate it. I really do. Because I have been seeing single women working hard in their entire lives trying to find out employment. Multiple of them don't even not are not even able to get proper lawyers because of lack of funds or resources to fight out their own divorce cases. And community needs to step in here to help them. If we won't do it for our own people, who's gonna do it after all? So again, actually hats off, and you deserve a clap again for your initiative. I really appreciate it from the depth of my heart. No questions here, but again, we do also hire out interns. So in case, I think post completion of this conference, my HR team would be proud to connect with you and help out those people whom you are trying to help by our organization. That's a really great effort. I would like to invite all the attendees to put forth their questions, if any. Any questions, you may just raise your hands and mute yourself and speak. I think Manjari is quite happy. You're into an initiative. You're really inspiring people out there.
Yes,
Thank
I'm
you.
actually very happy, and I would love that you'll grow
Questions
more
out here?
and someday will be part of you. I really appreciate everything you said and everything you do.
Thank you so much.
Actually is great, actually brilliant. The idea is actually quite brilliant. Though executing it might be a hard part, but again, if you have taken it so far, then it's nothing that hard at all. Any other questions? Any
Okay,
other
so
questions?
you have to ask those questions now, since my baby is still sleeping. So we don't want to be interrupted.
Okay.
So
No issue.
bring on the questions.
Okay. I think we have no questions for you, Maria. Although you have inspired a lot of us, I can see
Thank
even the
you.
chat box filling up with the comments of inspiring. That was a great honor talking to you, and actually, my HR team would feel proud to connect with you after this conference. Even we have people, and they would be happy to help you make a difference in this world by hiring out those who are underprivileged. Again, thank you a lot, and do share your email ID in the chat box. If anyone in the audience has any questions or any proposals for her, please do connect with her and don't hesitate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving ahead, I would like to invite Ms. Edidong Ishola, and I would like to request her to commence her speech and share her insights too. Yeah, I hope I'm audible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. It's good afternoon from my side. or good evening from your side. I'm so honored to be a part of this session today. And I want to commend the last speaker, Maria. You're doing such an amazing job in Philippines. I'm super proud of you. I love what you're doing. And not necessarily because this is what I do too, kind of, but not entirely. I'm so honored to know that people are that passionate about supporting other people, regardless of what it is in it for them to gain and all of that. So are there some students in our midst this afternoon? I like to believe that we have students attending this session with us. Yeah? Yeah? Okay, so can you put your hands up like this? If you can see me, put your hands up this way and just take your hand to your back and give yourself a tap on the back, saying, well done to you. I always like to do this in my sessions because it takes a lot for you to create time to do anything. And for you to create time to attend the session today, I want to say well done to you because that means you're very articulate and understand the importance of gaining knowledge in your approach as you go on in life because we never would know it all. We want to always leverage on the people who have gone before us to do what we want to do now because literally nothing is new. So sometimes it's important to hear people's stories. It's important to listen to Maria, people like Maria speak, people like Sarah speak. You know, I've just been so blown away by the sessions this afternoon, by the way, over my time over here where I am, it's afternoon. So I've just been so blown away. And it's such an honor to be in the midst of young minds and people who are doing amazing work. So today I'm just going to be sharing literally my story. I did put together a slide. I always like to share inspired by people's stories. I get inspired by people's genuine experiences because it makes me understand that my challenges are real. It makes me understand that my struggles are real. And it makes me see how to navigate those challenges. And so today I'm just going to kind of share my story. My story is literally that from a biomedical scientist to a social entrepreneur and to a perinatal mental health provider. And it's unique to me because never would I have thought that I would come out as a biomedical scientist for my first degree and decide to do business. And even if I was going to do business, it was going to be a part-time. It was going to be by the side. You know, it wasn't going to be something that I'm living out every other day. I probably would go to work and work on the bench and then come back and sell maybe a hand dryer because I sell hand dryers during my undergraduate days. I just knew that I was going to sell something, but I didn't know I was going to be living a life of impact. I was going to be doing business for impact and not necessarily for profit. And so I'm just going to share my story. I'll start by saying that I'm honored to share with you guys my journey as a social entrepreneur and the role of social entrepreneurship in driving positive impact. That's why I've been called today to speak. So for the last 7 years, I have dedicated myself to a cause that is deeply personalized and profoundly impactful. The reason why I say this is because when I started out my social enterprise in 2017, mental health conversations were not a thing in Nigeria, where I come from. It wasn't a big deal. People were not talking about it. People dreaded that conversation. It would interest you guys to know that we are almost there, guys. Everybody on the internet are talking about mental health in Nigeria. There is literally no conversation or no write-up you see on social media without you seeing mental health in it. And I'm proud because I feel like I have a role to play in that. I feel like I have a role because when I started out, I remember going to radio stations. I remember, going to health facilities to train mothers about how to identify the triggers of mental health disorders. I remember seeking partnerships and leveraging on a lot of things. I remember doing so much. And, when I also remember people saying to me, these things are not common. They are mostly for the Western people, forget those things, that kind of stuff. And I'm so honored to see that now people have now opened up. They are accepting. People are now paying for therapy. People are now seeking support. People now understand what the different, thresholds or different parameters of mental health disorders are. And that's a lot of milestone that we've come as a society. And my journey began with a simple yet profound desire. It was just to prevent unnecessary loss and alleviate suffering, particularly in the realm of infant mortality. So 7 years ago, I embarked on this journey with a single goal in mind. It was to ensure that no one would ever have to endure the pain of losing a child or suffer the loss of a loved one due to a preventable cause. It was a daunting task, guys, but I had to just do it because for me, coming from the background of biomedical sciences, finding out that I was rhesus negative and realizing that I didn't even know, being born to a mother who is a retired nurse, and she told me that I was rhesus positive, and finding out that I was rhesus negative, I thought to myself how the lack of information in our society can lead to people suffering some mental health disorder. That was the key driving force for me. And that was my determination to make sure that no woman has to, get pregnant, bring a baby to this world without accessing the appropriate information that they need. And like any other journey of significance, mine was not without its challenges, guys. It was a lot of challenge. There was cultural challenge, like I mentioned to you earlier. There was, feeling like you're not adequate. There was lack of knowledge because I didn't know much. All I knew was biomedical science. I didn't even have a background in nursing. I didn't even know what it meant for people to get pregnant. Prior to that time, I never even knew what delivery looks like. I never even knew what preeclampsia was. I never even knew that there was maternal mental health. I had nothing. I had nothing. All I had was, you know what? People need to know what they need to know in terms of their health when they are pregnant, or when they're planning the baby, and when they are postpartum. So this was my core driving force. And one of the greatest hurdles I encountered was the scarcity of resources. And in as much as I had the passion, of course, you can't have passion without resources. I could only go out there to seek partnerships, hoping that people will come along and buy into the idea. I had those challenges. And building and sustaining a social enterprise requires more than just passion, like I rightly said. It demands resources, financial, human, and material. Despite facing these obstacles, I refused to be deterred. Not because I couldn't have said, you know what, I'll just go back to the bench. But each time I went for an outreach, it was a further proof that people needed to know and access information about their health, their healthy experience, why it was important for them to have a healthy experience during and after pregnancy. And it was not just the clinical health, it was a combination of both, which was the mental and the clinical health. And so each time I went to the health facilities with my team, sometimes we're mostly volunteers, and we go to address issues. You see a nurse come up to us, oh, I like what you guys are doing. Oh, do you know that this thing happened and we never knew it was racism incompatibility? Oh, that was literally a nurse working up to us, a senior nurse working up to us. So you could be working in a sphere. So if you're a social entrepreneur, if you're planning to go into social entrepreneurship, and you think, oh, everybody's already solving all the problems, it will amaze you to know that loads of problems are still there. And even when there are solutions, people are not still accessing it. Maybe they are waiting for you. Just perhaps they are waiting for you to come to that facility and talk about it. Because you think, oh, as a nurse, you should know what racism incompatibility is. Guess what? We walked into that particular health facility, and that particular nurse did not know what racism incompatibility was, and was so happy that we came to shed light on that. Now, moving forward, I persevered finding innovative solutions and leveraging every opportunity that came my way. So for me, because I knew that I don't want to use the word impaired, but I was limited. Remember, I had cultural issues, I had resources in terms of people and finances. I sought different means. So if you're ever thinking of going to social entrepreneurship, you must think about different means to drive your impact, to drive your solution. You must think about collaborations. You must think about learning everything. Guys, if I tell you, I became a mobile app developer. I became I became an HR person. I became a business analyst. I became an accountant. I became everything for my business because I just made sure that just because I wanted to make sure that this particular enterprise was not just one of those. It was a proper enterprise. So you must take on so many responsibility. You must take on so many bear so many feathers so that you can fly. You are not going to be able to fly, especially if you're like me without resources and all of that. You must go on the wings of other people. So collaboration is a big deal. Leveraging and bootstrapping is a big deal. So I went on a lot of learning to do. Currently, that's why I'm saying that we have done some part of innovative approaches. That's why I went to learn how to build a mobile application. And from there, I met some young people and we partnered together to build a solution where mothers can book and pay for therapy through our mobile application. So now, as I navigated through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, I quickly realized the importance of adaptability. The landscape of social impact is ever evolving. And to drive meaningful change, guys, one must be willing to adapt to the shifting times. So COVID was one of the very, very different period for us. And that was when we actually broke even because that was when a lot of people started having mental health challenges. And so that was when we started selling. So you must learn to adapt to the changes, whether for us, it was whether it was embracing new technology, forging strategies, partnerships, or reimagining my approaches. I remain committed to staying agile and responsive to change. My quest for sustainable solutions for mothers and families led me to focus on maternal mental health, recognizing the profound impact of mental well-being on maternal and child health outcomes. I founded my social enterprise to provide mothers with the right information and support to ensure their clinical and mental well-being through the motherhood experience. Through resilience and unwavering commitment, my efforts began to yield tangible results. Lives have been saved. We've affected over 10,000 families, just about 15,000 mothers, and families have been spared the agony of loss, and our communities have been empowered to thrive. Each success does serve as a testament to the power of social entrepreneurship in effective, positive change and reaffirm my belief in the importance of perseverance in the face of adversity. So, in closing, my people, I want to leave you with this particular thought. Social entrepreneurship is not merely about addressing a specific problem, just like myself and Maria. It is about embodying a mindset. Mind is so important. It's about embodying a mindset, a mindset that refuses to accept the status quo, and instead seek to transform whatever it is that you are being faced with right now. And as we continue on our respective journeys, which we all have, let us remember the power that lies within each of us to drive positive impact and create a brighter, more equitable future for everyone. And so in your approach, you must be holistic. You must think about the future. You must think about inclusion. You must think about everyone. You must think about why what you're doing is important, and always keep that at the back of your mind. Let us also remember that whatever happens at conception has the ability to last forever. And so families are very, very important. The family unit is very important. And so support systems must be placed in place so that families can have an improved experience generally. I had to just add that part because that's one of the things I always like to say generally whenever I speak. I want to thank everyone for joining me, and I hope I haven't gone beyond my time. Thank you very much.
Firstly, the part about the collaboration between organizations added on, that was quite inspiring because multiple times we also face or we meet multiple solopreneurs who believe in running the businesses individually. I mean, on a shorter scale, the idea is good, but when we have to move to a larger part of the industry or target a bigger market, we obviously need multiple alliances which can help us secure our strengths in the 40, where obviously we are not that strong and neither we do have the time develop or build or nurture strength in that particular forte for the movement. So that part was quite memorable. Again, thank you for the speech. I would like to ask the participants to put forth their questions, if any. You may simply unmute yourself and put forth your questions one by one. Ajinkya, no questions, huh? Just sitting. Others? No questions out here? No questions at all? Okay. Edidong, I had a last question for you before we actually wind up the conference.
Sure,
Uh,
that's all right.
as we have already talked about collaborations, and you did occur that obviously collaborations would help organizations achieve the targets faster. So again, would you like to share any story of such collaboration where you have been working with our audience today?
So for me, I've leveraged on a lot of collaborations, a lot. So even with my staffing, I collaborate instead of recruiting because we can't afford to pay certain high-profile people to come on board with us. So we rather, seek ways to collaborate with them. We show them what is in it for them and ask them to. So we kind of offer a lending hand to ask them to come along. So because of the kind of thing that we do, collaborating is not one of the things that is an option, it's a must. So I think one of the profound collaborations has to do with my recent collaboration with what's going on? Did you guys see? Oh, sorry, it felt like something happened. Okay, yeah, that's all right. Okay, so my recent collaboration had to do with my collaborating with some of the students that I went to learn mobile application development with in the Tech for Dev program by Microsoft. And seeing that, these students were actually very, very passionate, and it wasn't left for me alone. I had to hand of partnership. I said to them, look, this is what we're trying to do. I had to literally pitch it. This is what we're trying to do. This is what is in it for you guys. This is what is in it for you. Are you willing to come together for us to do this? And they're like, oh yeah, why not? We're happy to do this. And these are students that I've never met before. I've never met them. They're in some part of Africa. One is in Uganda. I think one is in Malawi. So I've never met these people, right? So I believe that collaborating is one of the key features of social entrepreneurship, because we're not like every other entrepreneur who probably is making a lot of profit. Most social entrepreneurs like myself, 70 to 80% of our income goes back to the community, goes back to running the business. So you don't have the luxury of money to say, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Exception of when you have fundings. And even when you have fundings don't last forever. It finishes and then you might not be able to do with sustainability. So you must leverage on collaboration. I also remember a time where I collaborated with a TV station called Connect Nigeria. They were looking for content. And guess what? When I started when we started out, it was not a common conversation, and so most organizations saw it like, oh, this is new, so let's bring you on board. You come on Tuesdays and share your knowledge with us about maternal mental health, and that was when people started noticing, people started listening, people started coming on board to ask. Oh, someone said to me, oh, I remember that I have an auntie who actually went through that. Do you know, I didn't know that this was the reason why they were going through this. And then another person said to me, oh, my auntie was raised negative. So it just started, building conversations. So the truth is, I think that collaboration is a big deal here, guys. If you're ever thinking about going into social entrepreneurship, you must consider collaborating. So yeah, those are my here and there experiences I've had, which I still collaborate every now and then.
Meeting people from different diversities and cultures is increasingly interesting as collaboration. So that was a great speech again, Erido. Please do share your email ID in the chat box so that if any of our attendees have any queries, they can straight away reach out to you. Sure. So as we conclude tonight's session, we want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to all our esteemed panelists for their invaluable contributions to the first session of Conference 3.2. Your expertise and insights have added immense value to this event. A sincere appreciation also goes out to each and every attendee for your active participation. Yeah, we are aware that 1.5 hours is a very long stretch to go, but again, consistency is what leads to success and learning. We do appreciate and we do value your presence, engagement, and your consistency to learn. We're excited to continue this conference tomorrow with the second session, and we all look forward to see you all there. Till then, do feel free to share your conference experiences by leaving a review on Google or tagging us across LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook. We also encourage you to extend the invitation to your friends, fellow professors, colleagues, or researchers to join the conference tomorrow. Do share the conference links with them, and if you're sharing your experience on LinkedIn, do not forget to tag us. Okay? Your engagement, inviting friends, and sharing your insights are highly appreciated. Thank you once again for being a part of this event. Goodbye and have a great day ahead. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, Manjari, you can give me a call after the conference ends.
Okay, sir.
Rest, Yakansh, I think you can mail the recordings down to the Alliance team. That will do. Thank you, everyone. Do have a great day ahead.